The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right, guys. We are going to go ahead and get started here in a minute. Give people some time to come on. If you guys can hear me, go ahead and put something in chat. Let us know where you are coming from, or listening in from, right? Most people, I guess, are at home still, or some people are at home still. We talked to quite a few clients who are not. All right, sounds good. Okay, we will go ahead and get this ball rolling on time. I'm one of those on time type of people. So this is Marjorie. I'm going to be leading our call today. This is the first in a series of Acumatica versus QuickBooks webinars that we're going to be doing. We have learned over the last couple of years that there's quite a bit of a gap in between understanding, ERP space and QuickBooks space. And there's not really an in-between. There's not really a great in-between, right? It's kind of QuickBooks jump to ERP. So, of course, here at Fourlane, we represent QuickBooks. We've been doing QuickBooks for 12 years now, and we took on Acumatica about 4 years ago to be the next step up for our QuickBooks clients. So hopefully my goal is for you guys to get a little bit of information today on customers. Specifically, we're going to be talking about customers today to see the options that are there. I always talk to my clients about making sure that you understand what's available, what is possible, so that then you can kind of step back into like what's actually needed, right? We don't always have to go for the biggest and brightest, but it's nice to know what exists out there as far as software goes. Okay, so first, a little bit about Fourlane, something that makes us unique. We have 4 uniques here at Fourlane. So obviously we've been the top QuickBooks solution provider since 2010. We see a lot of QuickBooks Enterprise clients come across our plate. We are QuickBooks and ERP experts, so there are very few companies out there that bridge that gap, right? There are very few companies that bridge that gap between QuickBooks and ERP that truly know both products. So that is something that makes us unique here. Another thing is we know accounting and we know systems. So what I've been learning by doing interviews and things like that out there is that a lot of times people who are in the ERP implementation role cannot explain to me what a balance sheet is. And that's definitely something that people here at Fourlane will be able to explain to you how and what that means. And then we are project managers for change management. That's what we do, right? We come in, we say what's going on, things aren't functioning great, or we need more data, or we need data in a different way, and we help guide through that change. So these four things together are what make Fourlane unique to any other company out there. Okay, Fourlane, we do have a proven process called Drive here. So discover, we're going to right fit. The fact that we do QuickBooks and ERP products, we're going to help get the client in the right product. And the fact that we do QuickBooks Enterprise and QuickBooks Online and ERP allows it to take even further. We're going to inform customers, right? Our big thing here, we believe in educating customers, giving them the tools to do it on their own if they choose to, but being there if they choose not to. Implementing the vision so that they can get to that data, right? The goal of everything is to get you data to make business decisions. And then, of course, endless execution, because it's ever-changing technology. So, formula for success. So we do offer quite a bit of services here at Fourlane. A lot of customers come to us about one thing, and then they end up needing something more, or then they come to us and they say, I didn't know you guys did that. So processes, right? Documentation and training, that's a big core part. Custom programming and reporting, doing financial review, product conversion. Obviously, that's a lot of what we're going to be kind of talking about today. Database, review and repair, software management, KPI advisory, and ERP readiness. So these are just some of the core parts of things that we do for customers. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go in product now. A couple of things. First of all, before I get into that, I wanted to make sure, so Acumatica is sponsoring this meeting today, so you guys should have you should have received a $5 gift card, unless you signed up last minute. Should have received a $5 gift card from Grubhub, so I thank Acumatica for sponsoring this meeting today. I am excited to be doing a couple of these, like I said, over the next several months. I think we've got 10 scheduled over the next 5 months. So I am very excited to be doing these, and I'm thankful to them for helping to support some of the education out there for customers who are considering jumping out of QuickBooks or considering jumping into QuickBooks, because there are a lot of people right now who are looking to make some pivots in their business. So I'm thankful for them for that. Okay, so let's get started. So right now I'm showing somebody mentioned what's ERP, so Enterprise Resource Planning. So generally, we were just talking about this yesterday in one of our staff meetings. When people say ERP, generally what I find that they're trying to say is they want one system to do everything. They don't want to have to piecemeal things together, right, and use a whole bunch of apps to run their business. Generally, I find that that's what people are trying to say. Not the true definition, though. But usually when prospects come to us saying that they need ERP, usually that is what they are talking about. Okay. All right, so I am going to start things off with QuickBooks Online Advanced. Okay, I think that people, I think it's good to understand all of them. So first, in QuickBooks Online Advanced, and today we're just going to be focused on how to set up a customer in all of these products. Okay, because I want to take it down to the most simple level so people can understand, right? Because when it comes to these systems, when it comes to being able to track your data, it all comes down to where did we put the data? what data, which cells, so that we can report on that data, right? So are those cells available for us to put data into? And what kind of data can we track? So in QuickBooks Online Advanced, that's what I'm showing here, which is a web-based product, right? True SaaS product. I can come into my customer list and I can add a new customer. So I'm just focusing on fields today, right? So we have company field, first, last name, pretty simple. Display name as, so what do you want it to see as? If you can print on check as a different name if you needed to when you issue refund checks. Email addresses, phone numbers, right? All pretty straightforward things. Is a sub-customer of, right? So you can kind of have tiered customers here, right? So you can choose to make it a sub-customer. In QuickBooks Desktop is known as a job, right? It just allows for different kind of reporting. You can choose how you're going to bill the sub-customer. So if it's going to be billed with a parent or billed at the customer level or the job level. Address information, pretty straightforward here. You can have notes tied to the customer. Some tax information, so are they sales tax exempt? Sales tax information. Payment, so what's their preferred payment method? Preferred delivery method, print and email. Terms, what terms do they have? Those are just stated standard terms. Then they have this opening balance as of field, which just helps us to get in opening balances. We don't recommend using it ever, but in QuickBooks Desktop, you can turn off that field in Enterprise. It kind of causes some chaos on the front end. This is new to me today. I didn't know this one existed when I was going through and preparing. So language, you know, some of the benefits of having products nowadays, as I mentioned before, technology changes all the time. So it looks like you can send out invoices in multiple languages in QuickBooks Online. That's new to me. Was not aware that happened. Attachments. So of course we can attach documents in here. We have, you know, W-9s or, well, that's on the vendor side. But if we have any kind of contracts with them, anything that we need to maintain, we can attach those in here. We can have custom fields in QuickBooks Online Advanced, and they can be drop downs. The purpose of having drop-down fields, obviously, is so that we can have better reporting, more consistent reporting, because if they had to type in yellow every time, somebody's going to spell it wrong, and then it's not going to report effectively. And then additional information, we have customer types, right? So customer types can be something like commercial residential, you know, web store customer versus a wholesale customer, different customer types. So you can see as we go through, pretty straightforward, some information up top here, different tabs along the bottom to be able to enter customer information. Okay, looking at QuickBooks Desktop. So if I'm logged into QuickBooks Enterprise now, when I go into customers and my customer center, or I can just click customers here, and I come in and create a new customer, a little bit of a different look here. One of the things that I like to note, so to be able to go between the tabs, you know, there's a lot of clicking, quite a bit of clicking. Sometimes people are coming over from products and they're not used to clicking. They're used to hitting enter or quick keys. In desktop, if you see everything, you can tab between, but then you can go between the tabs themselves, right? Alt-P, Alt-T, whatever's underlined tells you which tab you're going through, so you can do things without having to do a lot of clicks. Okay, so customer name, we saw that. Opening balance, we saw that in QuickBooks Online Advanced also. Address information, here you have a little bit more control. So you have some drop downs of what kind of information you can track in here. I don't think I've ever seen people put like Skype IDs in these, but it's there. Twitter IDs in there, but it's there. So you can track quite a bit more information in there. Okay. Address details, You can have multiple ship to addresses as well. Payment settings here. So you can track an account number. A lot of times when people are coming from an outside system into QuickBooks, they're used to having an account number here. Okay. Or that account number connects to maybe a external homegrown system, right? Proprietary-based system. And so we need that account number to flow through so that the customer name is not what's making them unique for us. The account number is what ties us to that external product. See that quite a bit. Payment terms, that's similar. Preferred delivery method, call that again. Preferred payment method. Credit card information can be stored in here. It can be PCI compliant. You can do that in QuickBooks Online as well. And you can choose to allow customers to pay you by credit card or ACH. So you can set that up ahead of time. You can set up a credit limit for a customer, not allowing customers to go beyond this credit limit. And that is a preference in Enterprise too. Don't allow for sales transactions to happen to a customer that has hit their credit limit. We can have price levels or price rules in QuickBooks Enterprise. Okay. So wholesale gets a certain discount, retail gets a different discount. You can do it at the flat dollar variance, percentage variance, or per item, a unique price. Sales tax settings, the same thing, right? Which tax code, are they taxable, non-taxable customer, which tax item, and then if they have a resale certificate number, we can track that in here. Additional information, so we have customer type again. We saw that in QuickBooks Online Advanced. Customer type, if you think about it in reports, you can go in and do profit and loss reports and total by customer type, or you can do maybe sales reports and total by customer type, right? So it's just an additional way to splice data. Sales rep, so we can track by sales rep through here. Any kind of custom fields, and Enterprise has drop downs available as well, right? So you can choose information to pre-fill in. Okay, and then we can also track job information. So when they're a sub-customer, you can have job description, job type, status, start date, projected end date, and actual end date. So again, just fields of information, right? That's all we're looking at. What data can we put in the system? Okay. So navigating through, you just navigate through the different tabs here. Okay, so it looks like we have a question about Acumatica, so we'll get into that in a little bit. Do you have a desktop version, Shirley? So I'm not sure if this desktop version, or maybe did you mean a desktop version for QuickBooks Online? If you want to clarify that for me, that would be great. So the differences between these three products here, QuickBooks Online does have a desktop app, but your file is stored on Intuit servers. You cannot take your file offline from their servers unless you move to desktop, right? QuickBooks Desktop or QuickBooks Enterprise here, you can store the file on your own servers. You can put it on a hosted server provider, or you can, but this is not something that's going to be like web services enabled, right? This is going to be through a remote desktop that you're accessing this. And then Acumatica, you can do all the above. So you can have it locally. This product right now, even though I'm accessing it through a web browser. Oh wait, no, this one isn't on my server, on my local computer, but some of my demo files are on my local computer. So perpetual licensing, I have it. This one that we're looking at is hosted on Skyline hosting. So you can choose your hosting provider, or you can choose the SaaS option, which is hosted on AWS by Acumatica itself. So you have all three options when it comes to where your file is located here, which means you truly have control over your data, right? That's awesome. Okay. Is Acumatica cloud-based or standalone? So I think I just answered that hopefully for you. Does it support other languages. It does support other languages. So yes, so Acumatica does have there is a desktop. You can take it offline, run it on an intranet instead of on the internet if you need to. Take it fully offline. Now, most people don't, be real, right? Nobody wants to, not very many people want to maintain servers and all that stuff nowadays. Most people don't, and the price point makes it, pretty, it makes it so that choosing the AWS option, the Amazon Web Services, the SaaS option, it helps push people towards that direction. But you have the option. I like that you have the option to take it offline if you need to, right? Who knew that the world was going to go the way that it's been going the last couple of months? Things happen. Everybody wants to be online so they don't have to manage servers, but who knows what can happen in the future? And the fact that you have choices is a big deal to a firm like Fourlane. We like to have our clients have choices. Okay, coming into Acumatica, I always go down that pathway because that's something I believe in so strongly. I believe in it so strongly. Coming in here to Acumatica, so down the left side, I have all of my different module options here. So I'm going to go into receivables. Here they call it profiles. In QuickBooks, they call it lists. The difference between the two. So I'm going to come into my customer list here. Notice when you click into the customer list, it's very similar to clicking into one of the customer centers. So when I am in QuickBooks, I've got some information along the middle there. So it's similar bits of information, just slightly different looks. Okay. The difference here with QuickBooks or with Acumatica, one of the things that you can do is you can filter your list down to show whatever you want to show, and you can add additional tabs along the top. So you have much more customization when it comes to looking, like show me all overdue customers, and it'll just be a tab here. Show me all customers that are mine, right? Because I'm a sales representative. There's a tab here, Marjorie's customers. So you can choose to filter information down and then save that as additional tab. So you have much more control over the look when you're in a product like this. Diving into one of the customers here. Again, across the top, you're going to have a lot of consistencies, but there's just going to be more that you can do. Okay, so we have add, we have templates, right? So I can copy a customer in QuickBooks. You can duplicate a customer, but you can do that in Acumatica as well. Previous next. We have actions. So what are things that we would do with these particular customers? In QuickBooks, you do have that function up top too, right? So new transactions. It's not really actions, but it has some of that feel here. So actions, new invoice, new sales order, write-off balance. Oh, that's a great action for some people. These customers that pay us short 60 cents, oh, can we just get rid of it? Right? Generate statements on demand, regenerate last statement. So some different actions that you can do tied to this particular customer. You have inquiries, so these are going to be kind of like reports, right? So it's show me information about the customer and filtered it out in some form or fashion that we choose to filter it out. So show me customer details, show me customer statement history, show me their prices. All right, reports. So these are reports that come standard, or I could have additional reports built up here. So AR balance by customer right from this customer. So it will take me to the AR register for this customer, to the AR balance for this customer. So some information right from the screen there. Okay, so I set up my customer ID, active. It shows the balance right there, which is nice. Okay, you can see that in QuickBooks as well. So I can see the balance kind of if I want to there. Across the top, I've got my general information. So they don't have these quick keys, so there is going to be more clicking. It tends to be more clicking. So general information, company information here, right? Address, main contact, main address. Okay, so you have options. You see the options there. Account reference number. That is a field here too. You can have a customer class. So in Enterprise, you do have the option to set up a class tied to a customer. But what's different about Acumatica is you can have a customer class, you can have an item class, you can have an account class, you can have these class fields. So it's just extra ways to splice your data, and there will be more ways to splice your data when it comes to an ERP product like Acumatica. Terms, statement cycles, so you can set them up on different statement cycles. Maybe somebody gets statements once a month, somebody gets it every 2 weeks, somebody gets it on the 20th of the 3rd month. I mean, you can set things up in there, right? Auto apply payments. So if we receive payments in, do you want it to auto apply? Apply overdue charges automatically? Do we want to enable write-offs? What's our write-off limit per customer? What's our write-off limit? What currency are they in? Okay. If there's any kind of currency rate type, right? So special rates. Credit verification rules, right? So when do we do credit verification on them? We can go in and set up when we do that. We can have credit limits, right? And then it just gives us some information there that at our fingertips, right? And we can decide if we don't want this information to be there. And then personal data privacy, right? So they consented to the processing of personal data, and when that expires, I mean, it's just a lot more stuff. Billing settings. So we have a bill to, right? And we can have a bill to contact, which is different than in QuickBooks. You don't have a bill to contact that's separate per se. You have a bill to address, not a bill to contact. Okay. So bill to contact, bill to address. You can have a parent account, right? So this is what we were looking at before. So they have a parent account and a sub account. So who is the parent account on this one? Same thing as we saw in QuickBooks Online, consolidate balances, consolidate statements, share credit policy with the parent account. You can send invoices by email. So in QuickBooks, it's a drop down here. There are more options and there are check boxes to send statements by email, print them, blah, 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 blah. It's just going to be defaults here. Which type of statement? So we can have multiple statement types, and we preset it at the customer level, so we don't have to choose it every single time, right? In QuickBooks, you can filter by like customer type to choose which statement you want to send out. Enable multi-currency statements. Default payment methods, right? The default pay by check, which cash account does it go into, which card account, and then we can have credit card information in here as well. Delivery methods, so we can have a shipping contact. That is something that QuickBooks does not do also. Separate contact. You can have additional contacts, but it doesn't frame it in that way, right? That this is the shipping contact, this is the billing contact, so that it default picks up that information in other places. They have view on map, right? So connecting to a map there. Default location settings, so what's their tax zone, what's their shipping branch, price class ID, so if they have different price levels, any kind of special shipping instructions. Right? Do we allow for Saturday deliveries with this customer, residential deliveries? Do they allow for back orders with us, or do they want us just to, if it can't be sent out, then we just don't ship it? What's their priority, right? What's the lead time that they require? They have multiple locations. We can track those multiple locations in here. Payment methods, again, so which payment methods would we accept with them? Trying to go fast because we only have 4 minutes already. Contacts, so here are additional contacts, right? So we can track additional contacts. You can export these to Excel and import these from Excel, all of these you can. Sales reps you can add in here and put in their commission percentage. We can track attributes, which can be kind of like custom fields. So you can add additional custom fields basically with attributes in here. So is this a wholesaler or a retail customer? Is this, but you can add multiple levels of attributes, right? So wholesale customer with, over 500 employees with, lead source was Google, all those different things. Activities. So this is a big difference. So in QuickBooks, you can track. I can say, okay, we sent an email to them. I can tie to-dos to customers, but I can't tie to-dos to users, right? And here you can tie to-dos, future event, future dated events, which would be calendar invites or tasks, emails that have been connected, and you can have it automatically sync from your Outlook, of course. So activities can be tracked. That's something that is kind of like a CRM light, but the fact that you can tie those activities to a user sets it apart from QuickBooks. GL account codes. So if there are different GL account codes for this customer, you can set those up, including sub-accounts, right? So in QuickBooks, you think of sub-accounts as like a header account, and then a sub-account goes under. These sub-accounts are different. They're basically like extensions of classes. What we're used to in QuickBooks is classes, but you can have multiple levels. So this can be a class. The first 3 digits can be a class. Let's say it's Houston, Dallas, Austin. The second 3 digits can be a different class. Marketing, sales, operations, right? So you would be able to put that extra details of information built into the sub-account codes as well. So it's just another place, right? We had customer class codes. That's different than this field. These are more fields where you can put more data in so you can report better. Mail settings, so we can add in, right? Mail settings, so like, who do we send? So when credit card expires, who do we contact? When, we have a quote, who do we contact, right? So you can set up mail settings in here. And then if there's any kind of compliance on the sales side that we need to track for them, we can track that in here as well. One of the things up top, so we can add notes. I had that before in QuickBooks. You can add files, attached documents. You can have notifications. This also sets Acumatica apart. So I can say anytime something happens with this customer, they're my customer, so notify me. And you can set that notification up to happen automatically. Okay. So I kind of had to rush through all of that stuff right away. I added in QuickBooks Online at the last minute because I figured everybody would be interested in seeing all 3. If you guys have any questions about working with Acumatica, definitely let us know. Or working with QuickBooks, definitely let us know. Our next meeting is going to be next Wednesday. I'm going to go ahead and stay on here and answer some of these questions for people. But otherwise, I hope to see you guys next Wednesday. Thank you so much for the time. All right. I see a lot of questions. I just have been going through the webinar, so. And probably what I'll recommend is, I think it's Alfaris. I'll recommend that we set up a call because it seems like you have a ton of questions. So I just want to make sure that we can get them all covered. So does it integrate with third-party apps? Yes, absolutely. The Acumatica pricing model, we can set up a call to go through that for sure. Does it do CRM, HR, logistics, e-commerce? So yep, yes it does. So we can get you some information on that. Can I build a customer with multi-currency at the same time? I'm not sure what that means. You can set the customers to have multi-currency, right? When we were looking at the information on the customer, so we can set up what their currency type is, so which currency you want to invoice them in. Okay, that's what you're asking. QuickBooks only allows 1 currency per customer or vendor. So we'd possibly have to look with you on, so maybe you need to set up like jobs as an example, or sub-customers to be able to do the multi-currency. All right. Okay, I think that's all the questions for today. All right, guys, thank you again so much for your time. I hope you were able to take away a little bit of information about what's possible on the ERP side, and as well the fact that QuickBooks actually does a lot too. So I hope everybody has a wonderful holiday weekend and stay safe out there. Thanks, guys.